The film begins with the couple, James Foster and his wife, Em, enjoying their time at a recently visited resort in the seaside country of Leah. James, a struggling writer, is grappling with the failure of his latest book, while Em, the daughter of a wealthy businessman, is facing challenges in their newlywed relationship. In an attempt to mend their strained bond, they embark on this vacation. As the story unfolds, we discover that Leola is a poverty-stricken country, with a majority of its residents living below the poverty line. Consequently, the resort is tightly secured to prevent locals from entering. Despite these measures, a local manages to breach the security, causing chaos on his quad bike. James is drawn to the disturbance, and upon reaching the scene, he encounters a captivating woman named Gabby. Immediately engaging in conversation, Gabby expresses her admiration for James's work, surprising him given the perceived failure of his recent book. Graciously accepting the compliment, James mentions his ongoing work on the second part. Soon, Gabby's husband Albin joins them, extending a friendly handshake to James and inviting the Fosters to join them for dinner that evening. The scene transitions to the dinner, where the four individuals appear to be thoroughly enjoying themselves. Gabby shares that she works as a small-time actor in commercials, while Albin is revealed to be an architect. When James takes his turn, he confesses to a 6-year-long writer's block, but lightens the mood by noting that he also has six-pack abs during this uninspired period. Albin optimistically suggests that inspiration may strike in Leola and proposes that they all explore the city together the next day. James hesitates for a moment, apprehensive due to the country's known dangers. With clear warnings from resort officials to stay within the premises, James is initially reluctant. However, Albin reassures him of safety, and eventually, they agree. The following morning, the quartet rents a car and leaves the resort after discreetly settling matters with the local guard. Driving along the coastline, they reach a picturesque spot where they park the vehicle, spending a delightful time by the beach, indulging in drinks and sharing stories. Amid their enjoyment, James feels a sudden urge to relieve himself. As he finds a discreet corner, something unexpected occurs. Gabby approaches him from behind and engages in a peculiar interaction. Surprisingly, James doesn't resist, and she concludes her unconventional actions. Several hours later, as darkness falls, the group, now quite inebriated, decides to depart. Due to their intoxicated state, James is handed the challenge of leading the way. While driving, the group, engrossed in insensitive banter about Leola's dire state, faces a grim turn of events. Distracted, James accidentally hits a pedestrian who tragically dies on the spot. Panicking, the group debates involving the corrupt local police. Gabby dissuades them, warning of dire consequences if authorities discover the incident. Terrified, the Fosters hastily retreat to the resort and attempt to sleep. The following morning, loud knocks signal the arrival of cops, informed of the accident. James and Em are arrested and taken for questioning. Em is separated, and James finds himself confined in a dubious room, facing Detective Thresh. Detective Thresh delivers a devastating revelation to James, informing him that he unintentionally killed an innocent farmer. According to the law, James faces the death penalty, administered by none other than the farmer's 9-year-old son. Overwhelmed, James pleads for mercy, emphasizing it was an accident. Surprisingly, Detective Thresh unveils another country rule: freedom in exchange for a hefty payment. James, required to witness his cloned body's execution, opts for this alternative. Led to an ATM, he withdraws a substantial sum, handing it to the detective. Prison employees then proceed to take detailed measurements, sealing James's bizarre yet life-saving deal. The guy's physique is extraordinary, with remarkable shoulders and notably large anatomy. They outfit him with peculiar devices and usher him into a room. Inside, James is directed to immerse himself in a pool filled with an odd red liquid, triggering unsettling visions. Suddenly, he awakens in a bed, drenched in sweat. His wife, Em, discloses that his clone has been successfully created. Leading him to the room, James is astonished to find an exact duplicate, complete with the original's memories and distinctive features. The execution commences, drawing a crowd. James and his clone witness the brutal spectacle as the vengeful 9-year-old boy ruthlessly attacks the helpless duplicate. Witnessing the shocking sight of a person tied to a pole, Em is horrified, while James strangely appears intrigued. Later that evening, the couple starts packing, intending to leave the country. A sudden realization hits James. His passport is missing. Despite a thorough room search, it remains elusive. Visiting the reception, he learns his stay can be extended by a week, an offer he readily accepts. On his way back, Gabby intercepts him, apologizing for the incident. After persistent requests, James agrees to talk. Over drinks, Gabby shares her past, revealing that she and her husband visited the country years ago, where Albin was contracted for construction. In a hotel with an infinity pool, tragedy struck when a freak accident claimed the lives of 2 workers, leading to Albin's arrest on negligence charges. The revelation of the clone scheme followed, described by Gabby as an unusual yet advantageous law for affluent individuals like them. She discloses that many tourists visit Leola solely to witness their clones. In the next scene, Gabby guides James to her villa, revealing a covert community where Westerners partake in the disturbing act of killing locals. Members pay the government handsomely for their clone's execution. Albin, central to this group, sits with his mistress, a fact seemingly overlooked by Gabby, who also enjoys similar freedoms. Engaging in conversation with the group, each member sharing a penchant for infidelity like James, an unsettling proposal arises, escalating their activities by infiltrating the resort owner's house and brutally killing him. James hesitates, finding the idea ethically troubling. The group, however, persuades him, assuring him it's just for fun. At midnight, they reach the mansion, creating chaos after subduing the maid. The owner and his girlfriend, caught off guard in an intimate moment, are bound. Gabby hands James a gun, urging him to shoot, but he refuses. A security guard intervenes, shooting Albin in the leg before potential further harm. In the chaos, Gabby fatally shoots the owner, escalating the violence. The owner's girlfriend and the maid also fall victim. Returning to the resort, the group brings the injured Albin back. Amid an Indian dance show distracting most guests, Em discovers the carnage, causing her distress despite James's attempts to console her. The following morning, the entire group is apprehended and taken to the police station. Detective Thresh informs them of the severe consequences they now face. The scene shifts to an execution room, where the group faces a brutal end. Unexpectedly, the camera reveals the original group is alive, having once again secured their freedom by paying the government. Back home, James finds his frightened wife ready to leave, unwilling to endure further turmoil. Unable to convince his wife to stay, James surprisingly lets her go, declaring Leola as his new home. After her departure, Em encounters Gabby at the beach, leading to a conversation that culminates in Gabby taking James to her room. There, he succumbs to a local narcotic, intensifying his excitement and resulting in passionate intimacy. As days pass, James becomes deeply immersed in the group, relishing the euphoria induced by his newfound addiction. During a group meeting, a proposal emerges to kidnap and eliminate Detective Thresh, a notion unanimously accepted, including James. The group forcefully abducts the detective from the police station, subjecting him to mistreatment in their villa, with James, fueled by the narcotic, descending into a violent frenzy. In a disturbing turn of events, the group, fueled by the narcotic, subjects Detective Thresh to degrading acts, including urination. Shockingly, Gabby unveils the detective's identity as James's clone, leaving him feeling humiliated and upset. Retreats to his room, memories of his high school yearbook's dubious prediction haunting him. Realizing the danger, he retrieves his hidden passport and decides to leave the country. Boarding a bus quietly, he heads to the airport, unaware that the malevolent group has discovered his plan. Intercepting the bus, Gabby, brandishing a gun, forces James out. Under her watch, he limps his way back to the resort, attempting to escape at one point, only to be shot in the leg by Gabby. Despite his injured leg, James ventures deep into the forest until severe blood loss causes him to lose consciousness. With hope dwindling and death seeming imminent, 2 Good Samaritans find him and bring him to their house. That night, James is haunted by terrifying nightmares, reliving the murders he committed and facing the vengeful farmer's son. Awakening to horn sounds, he discovers the entire group waiting for him. Gabby steps forward, proposing a disturbing game. If James triumphs, he'll be fully accepted into their fold. The twisted rules involve killing a dog and revealing James's clone, aggressively leashed and seemingly drugged. Disturbed, James refuses to participate. James, yearning to go home, is forced into a violent confrontation when his aggressive clone attacks him. Despite his injuries, he grapples with and gruesomely defeats his clone. The aftermath leaves James battered and traumatized. In a bizarre turn, Gabby approaches him, smearing blood on her chest and proceeding to breastfeed him. The scene shifts to the group packing for the airport, their vacation concluding. Conversations flow, but James remains silent, still reeling from the shocking experiences in Leola. At the airport, while others board their flights, James stands in the waiting room. Later, he takes a taxi back to the resort, perhaps weighed down by guilt, unwilling to confront the aftermath. The movie concludes with James facing a pivotal choice, whether to return to his family or embrace his newfound affinity for the country. The scene fades as he unwinds by the beach, rain pouring down, mirroring the uncertainty in his life's direction.